When I think of Disney World, honestly one of the last things that pops into my head is roller coasters. With that said though, this massive Florida resort has 9 roller coasters in operation, all ranging from your most basic kiddie/family coaster to the more elaborate themed immersive attractions. Earlier this year I finally scored a ride on Tron Lightcycle Run, completing their full collection of roller coasters. Now I'm ready to provide you my ranking to find out which one is the best and worst roller coaster plus everything else in between. Before we get to my ranking, please do me a favor by clicking on that like button. This helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, newcomers to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Normally, I would start by breaking down the categories that these roller coasters fall into, but because Disney is geared towards families, my classifications don't exactly work in this scenario. So instead, I'll just stick to my basic number ranking. Number 9, Barnstormer at the Magic Kingdom. The most basic roller coaster at Disney World. Classified as a junior roller coaster, Barnstormer is situated in the Storybook Circus section of the park. The ride has just under 800 feet of track and a max speed of 25 miles per hour. If your little ones are looking for a first-time roller coaster, you couldn't go wrong with Barnstormer. Those wanting more of a thrill will be disappointed, but being a junior coaster, it's apparent who this ride is catering towards. Number 8, Slinky Dog Dash, located at Disney's Hollywood Studios. When I heard that Disney was working with Mock Rides to build a multi-launching family roller coaster themed to Toy Story, I was excited. On paper, everything about this ride looks solid. The terrain design, the layout, and of course the overall theming. Well, after getting my ride on Slinky Dog Dash, I realized that this coaster is a lot more tame than I would have expected. The launches are only there to get this coaster to speed and provide no sort of thrill or kick. The elements on the ride are very spread out, ensuring that the G-forces will be minimal. My favorite part of the ride would have to be the series of small bunny hills. They don't really offer any airtime, but it's a neat, unique element that looks better than it rides. The train design with Slinky Dog is brilliant, and one of the coolest trains at Disney. It's just a shame that the ride doesn't add a little more bite to this domesticated dog. Number 7, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at the Magic Kingdom. Hands down, this ride has the best animatronics of any roller coaster at Disney World. The entire sequence as you travel through the cave is incredible looking and super immersive. Even the final scene of the dwarves and Snow White dancing in the small cabin look great, faithful to the original Disney cartoon. The roller coaster itself, though a little shorter than say Space Mountain or Big Thunder Railroad, still has its charm with the swinging cars. Each car on the train will sway back and forth, adding a little more dimension to what I would consider a typical family coaster. Thrill seekers will be more pleased with this roller coaster than say Slinky Dog Dash, but all in all, this is a family roller coaster that is all about the experience over the thrill. Number 6, Rock'n'Roller Coaster at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Finally, a roller coaster engineered for thrill seekers. Rock'n'Roller Coaster, designed by Vekoma, who was almost responsible for every roller coaster project on Disney property, has cranked up the thrill factor to 11. Well, maybe not that high, but the launch has a pretty decent kick, and the first few elements really pack a punch. Unfortunately, once you complete the first third of the ride, the rest is just a bunch of circles and spaced out elements that don't pay off as much. However, those riding this coaster are here for the launch and less about what comes after. The theming, which centers around a speeding limo heading to an Aerosmith concert, is a little outdated and feels somewhat disjointed with the other Disney attractions. All in all, this is a solid roller coaster, but not on the same level of the other roller coasters to come. Number 5, Space Mountain at the Magic Kingdom. The oldest operating roller coaster at Walt Disney World is also one of the most beloved. Comprised of 2 almost identical roller coasters, one called Alpha and the other Omega. The ride is themed to space travel and majority of this attraction is in the dark. It's so dark that you have no idea where you are going, and it makes you feel like you are traveling near light speed, when in fact you're actually only going 2 miles per hour faster than Barnstormer. The theming is a little on the outside outdated side, but that is also part of the charm. It's like taking a look into the future through the scope of someone from early 1970. Space Mountain will be celebrating its 50th anniversary next year, which is a testament to this ride's popularity. The coaster has gotten a lot rougher throughout the years, but knowing Disney, I'd expect another major overhaul in the next few years to ensure this coaster lives on another 50. Number 4, Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. When this roller coaster opened in 2006, it was the most expensive ride ever built at $100 million. This number has now been eclipsed many times over by newer rides like Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Majority of the money went into the design of the mountain, which I must say is breathtaking. The level of detail is top-notch, down to the smallest items. Unfortunately, the Yeti is still broken, which is why the ride utilizes a strobe light to simulate movement, but that is one very minor inconvenience when compared to everything else. When talking about the roller coaster, I would say that this is on the higher end of thrills for a family coaster. The Helix provides some stronger sustained G-forces, something you don't find on most rides at Disney. Expedition Everest also uses a switch track, allowing the coaster to travel forward and backward during certain portions of the ride. With a solid layout, excellent theming, and Disney's world-class operations, Expedition Everest is still a must-ride attraction with every visit to Disney World. Number 3, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at the Magic Kingdom. When I made my first ranking back in 2022, I had Big Thunder Mountain Railroad all the way back in 6th place. Well, after getting a re-ride here in 2024, I realized I extremely underserved this roller coaster. To start with, the theme, like most rides at Disney World, is very impressive. The wilderness, Wild West type theming is done well, including all the tunnels, caves, and rock work. The ride layout is also very solid. It's not super intense, but I love all the quick snappy turns and weird trick track elements that keep you on your toes. My biggest complaint before is that I mentioned that the ride was rough. Sure, it has some janky turns, but that's kind of part of the charm. The ride has less than 3,000 feet of track, but with 3 lifts, this coaster feels very long, making it worth the wait. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. With a massive $500 million budget, Disney went all out with their first roller coaster to the Epcot property. Themed to the legendary Guardians of the Galaxy, this roller coaster is completely indoors and has over 5,000 feet of track. The theming is top-notch from the moment you enter the queue all the way onto the ride. The massive pre-show room is breathtaking, especially when you are looking at the giant Celestial, which, speaking of, is where things went downhill for my daughter. My daughter, who was 8 at the time, was very nervous to ride this roller coaster and wasn't a fan of indoor roller coasters. Well, once we encountered the Celestial, I went into dad mode, doing my best to keep her calm through the end of the ride. My experience of Guardians is a little tainted because of this, so I think there's a real possibility I could bump this coaster up into first place with another go-around. But anyways, back to the ride. The star player of this roller coaster would be the train design. Each car is designed to rotate in a controlled nature, giving each ride a different experience. With the Guardians cast and soundtrack blasting into your ears, all these elements add up to what some consider a concert traveling through space. Number 1, Tron Lightcycle Run at the Magic Kingdom. I've been looking forward to this attraction ever since the original opened in Shanghai Disney. Themed to Tron, this ride utilizes Vekoma's motorbike cars to recreate the sensation of driving on the grid. The aesthetics of this coaster are outstanding, especially at night. The lighting package makes this one of the best coasters to watch, as I could spend hours watching Tron fly through the giant structure. The theming is fully immersive down to the smallest details. I love how the Tron soundtrack is blasting through every speaker, really setting the mood for this ride. My only complaint would be how short this roller coaster is. At face level, the ride isn't terribly short, but when compared to Space Mountain or Big Thunder Railroad, Tron Lightcycle Run feels somewhat lacking. Thankfully, the launch theme and car design are enough to keep me engaged. Plus, the operations on this ride are outstanding. Almost every 30 seconds, another train would be launching, ensuring the line continues to move. Well, that's my ranking of every roller coaster at Walt Disney World. The truth is, even though Tron is my favorite right now, I'm sure it will change the next time I visit. I think that's just a testament to how great these rides are at Disney. The nostalgia is strong with these rides. Well, until next time, this is Extreme Thrills.